Captain Tibbles, he goes down in Washington State's history as one of the wealthiest men of our past. He amassed a huge fortune out of this building. I mean, you consider that he was shanghaiing men out of this building, he was purchasing his women, and this was the premier brothel. It's no surprise that he made the money that he did off of the sweat and tears of the people that he employed, kind of. Now, when you were walking up the stairs, you saw that painting of the woman in blue dress at the top of the stairs. There's two theories working about who that woman is. Some say she's a madam that used to work in the building, and others say that it is Captain Tibbles' wife. I tend to say it's probably one and the same, because when he was 68 years old, he fell in love and married his 30-year-old madam that works in this building. And that painting was found at his family home several years ago and brought down here to be placed in the palace. And what I find a lot of interest in this is the karma side of it. And I'm going to try and do this the way he wrote it in the newspaper, Captain Tibbles did. It was about a year after he got married. And the newspaper says that I was woke at 3 in the morning to what sounded to be a bear bursting through my door. Upon opening my eyes, I gaze upon a man standing 6'4", weighing all of 300 pounds. When I came to, he had been beaten severely. He had taken on such a beating that it broke his jaw in 3 places. He lost every tooth in his mouth. It broke his cheekbone and he lost one eye. When I came to, I reached over to check upon the well-being of my wife to discover that she was missing. For fear of her safety, I crawled out of bed, down my stairs, and as I crawled to my living room, I noticed out of my one eye, my safe now opened and emptied. You see, he didn't keep his fortune in the bank here in Port Townsend. He kept it in his family home in a big wall safe, and it was now emptied. He passes out in his front yard, and he's found by a neighbor and been taken to the Maritime Hospital. And during the course of his recovery, and this is where karma comes into play, he finds that the man that delivered the beating, that took his fortune, was none other than his wife's brother. And the only reason she married him was to gain access to the family home, the safe, so she can steal his fortune. But karma is even nicer than that. When he recovers from the beating, he goes to the local courthouse and he asks the judge for a warrant to be issued for his wife and her brother for the beating and the theft of his fortune. And the judge looked him dead in the eye and said, "No, there will be no warrant. I'm using you as an example as to what happens when you marry a whore and take her uptown." That's karma. In the end, Captain Tibbles dies completely broke, lost his home, his business, the whole 9 yards. He dies alone in an institution just outside of town. And his wife, upon discovery that there was no warrant issued for her arrest, leaves Seattle, buys his old home from the city of Port Townsend's back taxes, moves in and spends the rest of her life living off of his fortune. And so do his great-grandkids today. That's karma. I like that. We're going to head on out now.